What's up, Buff Nation, and welcome into the Buff Blitz, the Wednesday podcast between Buffs News Weekly and David Talks Buffs. I'm, of course, joined by my co-host, David. David, how is your night going? How is your week going after that loss on Saturday? How are you doing overall?
Man, I think doing good, all things considered, right? I think there's
Yeah.
still, even though the season ain't going the way we want it to go, there's still a lot to play for. There's still a lot of storylines that I'm very excited to follow. And I legitimately think, wow, we're going up against a very tough team. This is not an immortal team. And I'm excited to talk about the ways how Colorado can pull off an upset. I think it's going to be a fun game, man. This feels like a Big 12 rivalry that has been developing, man. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling better after that game. Obviously, being in that game, we didn't get to talk post
Oh,
game
that's
since I was at
right.
the game. It was definitely frustrating being there, seeing the potential that came out with this team, I'll say it. I was talking a lot of smack to the BYU fans in my section because I was in the away section again. And, you know, even though we lost by 3, you know, it was frustrating. It was definitely frustrating. Frustrating overall. It's bad when I take my wife to the game. By the way, it was only her second ever college football game. And she turns to me on the way out of the stadium, Dave. You know what she says? She
What?
says, "Man, that Salter guy is not very good, is he?" When non-football watcher like watches that game unfold and says that to you, you're just like, "Oh man. Oh, yikes." There's two crowds when it comes to what happened Saturday night. We can get into that a little bit.
Yeah.
There definitely is that crowd that is blaming Salter. There's definitely the crowd that's blaming play calling. I went through a list of about 5 or 6 things that I think led towards that loss. Dave, I'm interested in hearing from you. What do you think now that we've had some days, we've had some time to look back on the game, we've looked at what's happening, but you tell me, how are you feeling? What do you feel like the problem is with CU and why we lost that game to BYU?
Well, I think that there's a lot of blame that goes around that like deserves. There's a lot of things that deserve blame. Rather, let me start over.
Yeah.
Now, the Kane Salter dilemma is really interesting because in some respects, he's why we're in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Because with his running ability, rocking the zone read, all of that, like he helped keep us in the game. He helped us get out to that 14-0 lead. On the flip side, more so in the second half, it was some of the decision making, the throws that he wasn't making that also put this offense behind and why it kind of ended up stalling out. So it's inconsistent quarterback play, man. When it comes down to it, the defense, they played better than I anticipated, but again,
Still
the
not
theme with
good.
this team right now is in crunch time, or when you gotta knock somebody out or show your killer instinct, whether it's on offense or defense. This team lets opponents stick around. They don't finish guys off, and that's what happened with BYU, man. In the most important moments of the game, they played better. Even though I think CU came out and gave an effort that I was a little bit, I was happy with their effort. Obviously wasn't happy with their execution. I think some people are treating this like a Stanford game or something like that. But it's like I didn't see us quit in this second half. We just we're just not that good. I think that's it, man. I just don't think we're very good right now.
This picture is 1,000 words, Dave. This is the CU Buffs under Prime. We can't finish games. We can't finish games. I mean, just look at this. I mean, that's 6 different games that we end up losing where we're either tied at the very end of the game or winning at, obviously the Stanford game's completely different. You're up 29-0 in the second half. That should be a win.
Oh my God.
But up 21-17 in the third against BYU with plenty of chances to win that game. Close game against Kansas, can't close that out. Close game with Arizona. Obviously the K-State game last year with the last drive for K-State. Like, you look at these games and we're in a lot of games against good teams. Good teams. I count at least 3 ranked opponents in these set of games that we could have won, and they could have been statement victories for Colorado. And instead, we're looking at a Coach Prime team, in 3 years that is 15-15, I believe is now the record. You take those 6 games that we should have won, like guaranteed, you should have won all 6 of those games. And all of a sudden now you're looking at a team that's 21-9, like record, and probably has been ranked for 2 years, probably is playing in a Big 12 championship last year. I mean, it's a lot of pain. It's a lot of pain for CU fans the last couple of years, not compared, I will say, to prior to Coach Prime. We're not going to be that podcast here that's, saying that Coach Prime needs to go. Anybody that wants to do that can feel free to walk out the door because they have no clue as far as what Colorado's been through. But that's a lot of pain.
It's a lot of pain. And I know a lot of fans, any time that I criticize Coach Prime and this staff, there's always those people that come in here and say, well, without Coach Prime, you'd be back to 1-11. And yes, like, I do not want Coach Prime fired. I want to see him see this thing through. I think he can still get much better as a coach, right? But I as a CU fan, we know what a 4, 5, 6 win football team looks like, man. We've had a lot of those seasons. And I think right now, for the most part, this team looks like a team that's been coached by Carl Durrell, Mel Tucker, Mike McIntyre, like these types of teams. And right now it's about fighting for bowl eligibility. I think that one thing that's kind of encouraging, in my opinion, with Coach Prime is, especially last year, I think that we saw our football team get better throughout the year. We saw guys get better throughout the year. That's been great. I think right now we're seeing our offensive line get better every game. That's awesome to see. So as opposed to maybe starting hot, remember Mike McIntyre's last season here. It's when I was at school at CU. You start out 5-0 and then you lose 7 straight. I don't see that happening here at all. So yeah, I still think that bowl eligibility is on the table. We're talking about the Big 12, man. If you bring it and we just clean up a few things, we're going to be right in there. I absolutely believe it. But we need leaders from this team to step up. I think the one thing that I'm a little concerned about, and I talked about this on Monday, is that I'm not as much concerned about Kaidon Salter's inconsistent quarterback play. When you remove the emotion out of it, that's just kind of how he is. That's how he plays. He's not going to be the precision passer that's always making the best reads, but his athleticism can help make up for that. But I think I absolutely hated his post-game press conference. Bad body language again. Kind of this attitude of woe is me, or, my head was messed up from being benched. It does not take any personal accountability for why that could have happened. And it it really, I think, tops the potential of this team as long as he's the starting quarterback. And with the offensive line looking as good as it is, I think if this game wasn't on the road, I think there'd be much more of a serious conversation about throwing Julian Lewis out there for his first start. Because now I can kind of see it, man. I can kind of see why people haven't trusted you fully, and the staff hasn't trusted you fully when you're going out making comments about, I'm just trying to be the best leader possible. But all that kind of messed with my head. Dude, that's not what you want to hear from your starting quarterback.
And Dave, I would have understood had he said that after the Wyoming game. He played amazing against the Wyoming game. So what? It didn't affect you then? The first game after coming back from being benched? It's 2 games later that all of a sudden now that's a comment that gets brought up. I mean, it's just not something you want to see there. Very telling, by the way, what Xavier Hill said today in his press conference, which something we should probably talk about. Xavier Hill, and I quote, "The leadership on this team can definitely use some work. We lead by example in our own room."
Oh, man. Oh, my God. Oh my
Like, do
God.
people not understand that there's stuff that we don't know about that is not in the public limelight? Like, there is a reason that Kaidon Salter was benched, Dave. And I don't care what anybody says online. I don't care what any, uh, online coach or anybody says that Salter is this better guy and he's really good and it's not his fault. And we just keep making excuses for him. But there is something going on in that locker room. And there is something going on the practice field. There's something going on in the quarterback room when the best, and I will say he has every right to say that when the O-line is the one part of this team that is balling this
Yeah.
whole season. I mean, they're giving him, by the way, 4+ seconds each time he drops back. Dave, by the way, the other stat that came out today that's making its rounds at social media, and I want your thoughts, expected points lost to sacks taken in the Big 12. Colorado leads 27.6 points that were lost on the board due to sacks. So that's like being in field goal range, taking a sack that pulls you out of field goal range. That is exactly what that does. And Colorado has 27.6, Dave. That is the difference between a 2-3 team and a 5-0 team, because that's enough points to swing almost every single game, including the Houston game and what Staub was able to, not accomplish in that one. When you hear those two things, I mean, what are your thoughts on what's going on with this quarterback room and perhaps what should, happen with CU going forward?
I just hope it's something that we learn from, man. I think, I think that maybe even the program itself took Shador and Travis for granted. And I think we did coming into the season saying, hey, this is a better team, even though we lost these two dudes, right? We didn't talk about nearly enough the leadership void that was lost coming into this season. And if you're going to go in the transfer portal and get a guy, you have to make sure everything is vetted, that you're dropping NIL money, collective money on guys that are going to come in and continue the culture. I think we might have just been better off, maybe in retrospect, Russ. I know it's not how these guys are wired, though, but seeing this as a transition year, really doubling down on the young talent and the leadership that you have there that's up and coming. They're just not ready yet because they're like freshmen, redshirt freshmen, sophomores, all that. And really play in preparation for 2026, because like right now, I talked about it, man. It's just we missed on big guys right now when it comes to just not bringing in leadership. We spent a lot of money. I don't know what it was, but I imagine it's a lot of money on Kaidon Salter and Jaheim Otis, and these guys have been zeros when it comes to helping lead this team.
Yeah, that's the key. I mean, skill set aside, because Jaheim Otis has been grading out pretty well recently. Kaidon Salter grading out pretty decently, looking decent at times. Definitely, definitely the better quarterback right now. We don't know what Julian Lewis is if we give him more time, but I mean, between Staub and Salter, absolutely the best quarterback. But you pay that kind of money for a guy to be the starter and you expect him to also lead. Something is going on with this team that he is not leading. And again, we can say all we want on paper, this is what he looks like. There's plenty of quarterbacks out there that had the skill. They didn't have the leadership capabilities. They didn't have the, raw talent. Yeah, it's there. It's there for some players. I mean, you can go back, again, not fully doing a one-to-one comparison with Kaidon Salter and this person, but you look at like a Johnny Manziel, who even after his playing career, even admitted like, oh, I could care less about the playbook. I could care less about this, that. I mean, literally, he was succeeding and winning the Heisman off of pure talent alone. The question is, had he actually like taken it seriously, what could he have been? That's the big question. I don't know what's happening, but something's going on this team. If players are making these type of comments, if Kaidon Salter's getting benched, if Coach Prime's making comments about the leadership and really stepping up at times, it's just kind of crazy that's happening right now.
And I'll say, dude, even to your example of Johnny Manziel, like this guy didn't take it very seriously, but again, I don't know how he did
Balled
it,
out.
but he made sure that he had the respect of everybody on that team, and he
True.
led that team. And I think that's the other thing that we see. It's like, again, Kaidon Salter has he has a lot of ability, man. Like, I was very excited about having a dual threat guy come out here. But you see the lack of confidence, man, here in the second half of games. Like, he just does not have that confidence. And maybe, I think I made a mistake of where I just excused 2024, just saying, oh, well, that team sucked. He was on that great 2023 team. And maybe I should have looked more seriously into, why did Liberty suck last year? Why didn't he lead better? Because I think now in retrospect, dude, that's like one of the things I should have realized, man, was that maybe we shouldn't be taking quarterbacks straight from losing programs to come in here to lead a team to a Big 12 championship.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's rough. I mean, here's the thing, and a lot of people are saying it in the comments, Dave, and we've talked about it. I know you did a video about it, the transfer portal versus high school and all this stuff. What we're seeing more and more now, that teams are really truly turning to the transfer portal now to be a big part of their teams moving forward, is you're seeing boom or bust when it comes to the portal. You're seeing some teams hit on a number of players, and look at where they are. They're at the very top. And then you're seeing teams like Colorado, heck, Florida State last year, you could say, in that transition they made. But Colorado this year now, way too many misses on the transfer portal. And because we're still building up the high school recruits and the high school ranks, because let's be honest, every year, I mean, most teams are hitting on maybe 10 to 15 high schoolers, and it takes a couple years. I mean, I will say the 2025 class, we've got to admit, is doing pretty darn good. They're one of the few consistent points of this. So the future is bright for Colorado. That's what fans need to understand, is they're doing it right when it comes to that. Maybe this year just becomes a blip on the radar, and unfortunately, the transfer portal couldn't overcompensate for what we needed on this team. That's that's what we have to understand. But this is a part of the season. This is a part of every year. This is going to be a part of college football going forward. The transfer portal is not just going to go away. And teams who have not adopted the transfer portal have absolutely, completely just fizzled out and completely imploded on themselves, i.e. like Oklahoma State's one of those teams that, Gundy did not believe in the transfer portal for, really overcoming what you had. And look what happened to Oklahoma State this year. So it's rough, because you're going to have these years where it's just going to be a bust year when you don't hit on those guys. And we did not hit on enough guys in the portal. I can name maybe like a handful of guys that are where they need to be. The rest, out of the 20 plus portal guys, are just not where they need to be.
Yeah, looking back, I mean, this kind of, in terms of a leadership void, this was very similar to 2023. And
yes,
again, we had a lot of young, promising players still coming up here. But again, like you have to have your veterans lead. And I think that one thing that I think we've learned a couple times now is that maybe you can't build the core of a culture through transfer portal veterans, man. Like, you just can't do it. That needs to be homegrown. And that's what I'm excited about with a lot of the guys that we got in this 25 class. Like, I think that they're going to be cornerstones of this program. But yeah, imagine, if we had more Jordan Seatons here, maybe you can have a culture strong enough to bring in some guys, maybe not necessarily at the quarterback position, but other big time transfers like Jaheim Otis that can kind of be put in line, so to speak, in terms of the expectation by the other players. And again, I still think this defense has tremendous ability. Better than the 110th ranked defense in the country right now. But Tafik Bayard, who's been here for not even a year, he's like the main leader on the team right now, him and Arden Walker, I guess, right? But we just don't have enough leaders and accountability on that defensive side of the ball.
Can we talk about the difference between a leader and a non-leader and what Tafik Bayard said after that game?
Yeah, break it down, Russ.
They ask him about the 3rd and 17 play, and he literally does not make excuses. He doesn't blame the coaching, even if the coaching was probably to blame on that. What does Tafik Bayard say? He says, Buffs fans, I'm sorry. That is on me. Like, that is leadership to a T. Take full responsibility for what's going on. Apologize, figure things out, and keep going on.
Yeah.
Okay? Keep going on. And getting to see him do that was exciting for me. I'm glad that he has a little bit of eligibility. I have a feeling he'll come back another year if he has that eligibility, because I don't think he's there. So I think that's good news for Colorado, because I think another year, who knows, TJ Branch could be your starting safety opposite of Tafik Byard. And I like a TJ Branch, Tafik Byard in year 2 starting, safety room. Now the question is, because let's be honest, the two biggest positions that need to be changed massively are the cornerbacks and the linebackers. And the question is, how are you going to fix those two rooms? And are you going to be able to fix those two rooms? That's the biggest question.
I don't know if you can fix it in season.
No. We can't fix it. It's over with. I mean, This is who we are. This defense is who we are, Dave. And I will give props for as bad as they are. We will say that they are going to be bad every game. It is just a fact. They did enough with how poor they are to get Colorado the victory against a ranked BYU.
Yeah.
Like, I will go back to that every time. Yes, the defense is straight cheeks, but they did what they had to do in the moments that they had to do it. Like coming out of the second half, getting that stop. When you're up 14-0, you give the defense a chance to go up 21-3. At the end of the game, CU had two chances to win that game, and they weren't able to offensively. So I'm like, I get it. The defense is horrendous, guys. Trust me. The defense is absolutely horrendous. But we were still having a chance to win that game. And my big thing is, and I get it too, play calling, it wasn't good. You got to overcome for it. Like whatever Shador did the last 2 years, again, now we're realizing more and more of like how big of a deal that was, because between not having an offensive line and again, not having good play calling, he was like, screw this. I'm taking the reins. I'm doing what I want. And I'm just going to do whatever it is to make a win happen, which it does not seem that Salter is necessarily capable of doing. I don't know.
Yeah. I just don't know if he's that kind of, like, he just hasn't shown right now that he's that type of guy to put the team on his shoulders. Because again, I think that his game, it lacks consistency and confidence. And we've seen that lack of confidence here at the end of games. But I think one encouraging thing, like from, I guess all this, Russ, like, is it's not a bad thing that I think that we've shown to be pretty good at like recruiting and developing high school talent. I would like us to move into this direction a little bit more. I mean, I know you kind of have to play the patience game with these guys. Might take a couple years to be ready, but if you already know that these guys are firm culture fits, they've been around, I would think they would probably cost, like, you can get a handful of high school guys potentially for the same cost of one transfer portal lotto ticket. Maybe there should just be a little bit more roster balance when it comes to that, because I'm trying to think, like, dude, if we can get Jordan Seaton and Julian Lewis, if we try hard enough, man, we can get anybody. And if we put emphasis on it, man, like, we had the 38th ranked high school class last year with 15 guys. That's insane. Imagine if we doubled that, where we'd be.
That's what I try to tell people. Like, I had somebody say that, like, CU's the 60th ranked high school class right now. And I'm like, look at what we've done the last 2 years. Like, we are a late bloomer when it comes to commits. This is the most commits, by the way, that CU has ever had in the Prime era at this point in the recruiting cycle. Okay. And we're in the 60s already. Like, we're going to be top 50 easy.
Yes.
Easy. Now, if we get a few more recruits, numbers wise this year than we have in the past, maybe we can break the top 25, which would be a great thing for this team going forward. But you're starting to see that certain positions are filling out with guys who are young, high school recruited guys that we're not going to have to go after in the portal as hard. Like, you're not going to have to go at the top guys. You're going to go for depth, of course. You're always going to go for depth at all these positions, but London Merritt, Alex McPherson, they're the cornerstone of your defensive line moving forward. On the offense, Seaton, Juju, Micah, Draylon, You've now got, 4 guys on the offensive side. You got 2 running backs. You got a quarterback. You got a left tackle that are ready to move forward. You've technically got guys in Chauncey Gooden and Cardi Smith that I hope are ready to go on the offensive line. And Yo-Yo. So you've got maybe like what? One big, but the point is, Dave, if we only have to go after a couple of positions in the transfer portal for starters, what does that mean about the type of transfer portal guy they're going to go after? They're going to have a little bit more money to spend on the top guys at those positions and really go after the guys that I think a lot of people in the comments want us to see us go after. So maybe we can prioritize, Dave, some really good corners in the transfer portal if we don't have anything going with that, because I don't know very many freshman corners that are coming in and starting day one and dominating college football. You look at Cormani McLean, what happened there? It took him some time to figure his game out, okay? It just happens. It's not a position that's easy to come in and play day one. Receivers a lot different. Running backs a lot different. There's a lot to that, but we're building towards that. And I think, to be honest, I think the kids see that. So to anybody that wants to say that Colorado is about to lose everybody to the portal and everybody's checking out and, the high school recruits aren't going to be coming, they see that the pieces are there. The best parts of this team are going to be here for 3 to 4 years. There's no reason to jump ship now just because this year with the older guys is bad. That's the big difference for me.
Kaidon Salter fails to handle himself as the guy of a face of a program. But I think it's very clear, even early on, that Julian Lewis understands the weight and what that means.
Yes.
And so, again, like some of the big reasons why I didn't want to see him play at first, big question mark with the offensive line. Like, how's that going to be? You can't have him getting blown up. Now that's a huge question mark that's been answered. Gunnar White's crushing it with this offensive line. And so really it's just at this point, when is the staff going to feel comfortable put him out there? I think, again, I'm not going to question the staff on it right now. I would imagine that once Julian's ready, regardless of how Kaidon Salter plays in a certain game or whatever, that he's going to be out there.
And Darren, this comment, I always bring up Indiana. I think the big difference is, I'll say it every time. Curt Cignetti, he knows his talent. Like, that dude is finding diamonds in the rough in the portal. And it's the reason why he turned around Indiana. I'm trying to tell that to people. The portal is a tool to turn around programs quicker than in the past. Because remember, Dave, back in the day before the portal, it was always a coach needs 4 years minimum before you even think about firing them, because you need to bring in your own guys. You need to allow time for development. That's not the case anymore, because coaches are getting fired in year 2 and 3 now, because the teams are saying, well, you got the portal now. You need to be able to figure out talent much quicker and compete rather than losing every single game every year, because that shouldn't be happening. There should be turnaround to teams much quicker. And then high school is used to eventually create long-term success. Portal is more short-term success or failure, as we're finding out.
I think he's done a great job building culture, and he's hit on a lot of guys that have fit into it. And again, with the quarterback position, I think they brought in the number 1 quarterback out of last year's transfer portal, and he's also a tremendous leader. So when you combine with those things, you're going to have success. Curt Cignetti has crushed it with his evaluation.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, Dave. Well, we've talked about the BYU game. It's unfortunate. I think it's time to turn the page. We've got to look forward to this weekend. We're heading down to Texas again.
Fort Worth, baby.
Good old Fort Worth, going back to TCU where we made some good memories. I have a feeling that TCU and their coach are going to be looking for a little bit of revenge from the upset that kind of kicked off a bad period for TCU football that has now come roaring back.
Yeah.
Roaring back. TCU has got a team down there. Although this past week, they weren't able to close out against ASU. There were some... you could call it holes, you could call it, weaknesses in the TCU team that I thought, we were going to see. What are your initial thoughts about this TCU game and what could potentially happen for Colorado going into TCU?
Well, Josh Hoover Very good quarterback, one of the better quarterbacks of the Big 12. Coming off a bad game, man. I think he had 0 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, if I remember correctly. And yeah, couldn't get the job done there at the end of the game. So, on one side of things, hopefully we're able to still catch him in a slump. However, I imagine that this team's going to come in really focused. But TCU, their offense is on fire right now. I mean, I think they're averaging around 37 points a game. The one thing that's I think could go in our favor is that their defense sucks too. So if our defense continues to step up, and again, they don't need to play elite, but hey, if they're able to, kind of contain a TCU offense, maybe to the likes of how they somewhat contained BYU, then they should have an opportunity to win this game because our offense should put up points. Now, will they be able to take advantage of those opportunities? Who knows? But this is a team that's given up a ton of yards on the ground, rushing. I think that's where you try to attack them, although their passing defense isn't that great either. So, but I think we got to take pressure off of Kaidon Salter coming into this if we're going to have a chance, man. Give the ball to Draylon Miller and our running backs.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Dave, and I would agree with your assessment. I think BYU's defense was better than TCU's defense. So that does bode well for the offense. Now, the problem is I think that TCU's offense is better than BYU's offense. So if we're talking about a potential CU upset of TCU, it's going to come because of a shootout and the defense just doing enough, maybe getting a turnover. I will say that Josh Hoover is, like you said, threw 2 picks last week. He's got 4 picks on the season. Last year, he threw 10 plus picks. He is prone to turnover ball, but you get that when a quarterback's like that. Watching Josh Hoover play, by the way, and I'm going to get a lot of hate for this by CU fans, he kind of reminds me of Shador in how he plays.
Oh, yeah.
Not really a full dual threat, but a very good pocket passer that when he needs to, he will run with it. And I have a feeling that's not, CU's not good against that. I get that we're not good against the primary run, but when our coaches are not spying on the quarterback and our corners are, the line's not getting enough push, that's where I'm a little worried, because that was where Hoover played well against ASU, was when the play was kind of dead, when there was nobody open, he was getting them, yardage when he needed to. And so that reminded me a lot of the way that Shador played, hang in the pocket to the last possible minute. When there's absolutely nothing available, I'm taking off. So I just feel like this is going to be a shootout if Colorado has a chance. If the offense is not able to do what they need to do, this could get bad very quickly. Very bad, very quickly.
Funny enough, we actually do run the ball at a better rate than TCU does, even per carry and just overall yards per game. So that is encouraging, man. If we can get them in passing situations, maybe we can see what this edge group can do, right? I still feel very good about this edge group, but they just haven't had the opportunity to really tee off, pin their ears back, go after it, man. So if, again, they're going to pass the ball around, that's just kind of who they are. But if we are able to make them a little bit more one-dimensional, that can help things. They're actually, as much as our secondary, Russ, has gotten torched, we're just slightly above average or below average in the Big 12 when it comes to our passing defense. TCU's is actually even worse. I think they got one of the worst passing defenses in all of college football and definitely the Big 12. So maybe this is a nice bounce back game for Kaidon Salter and the offense. If they're able to get out to a hot lead, man, I think that's imperative to having a victory. I just don't see us right now coming back on the road in the fourth quarter with who we got playing quarterback. I just don't. So it's important to get out to a lead and keep it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the key there, Dave. I mean, this is the chance. I mean, if Kaidon Salter wants to ring the bell, wants to, answer the call of everything that's happening this week, This is your chance to do it. And you absolutely have the ability to do it with who you're playing. Screw whatever the defense does. Go out and ball. Don't care what they do. Just ball out. You win, you lose, it doesn't matter. You can at least show that you are where you're supposed to be and what everybody needs to see. And he has the ability. He has the ability to do that. He has shown it. For whatever reason, there's just not consistency. I don't know why he bails out of a clean pocket. I don't know why he can't, get it to the open receivers at times. I don't know, Dave. I don't know. Is he not allowed to audible? Does he not know how to audible? I mean, that's another question. Like, that's a
Would
big
I
thing.
even trust him to audible right now? Hell no.
That's what I just don't get is like, if Shermer's play calls are so bad, take it under your own, like, go for it. Like, if Staub is audibling out of Shermer calls, I mean, what does that tell you? Like, what does that tell you?
My issue with Shermer this past game was the fact that he just still didn't really run the ball much in the second half, or as much as I would have liked to see. I think I would right now even beg Pat Shermer to have more faith in the running game and less in the quarterback play. You don't got Shador back there. So, hey, dude, we got two running backs right now in Simeon Price and Draylon Miller, who is a revelation, who is in his element at running back, who, some of you guys in the chat, you've been spamming it for 2 years. Take your victory lap. Marshall Faulk has those guys playing great. Why don't we show the trust in that unit and put a little bit less trust in our quarterback? I know that sounds terrible, but that's how we need to play. We need to burn the clock. We need to limit possessions in order to get this win on the road.
And Trickster's comment here, like, this is exactly what I'm saying. Like, I called it out on Monday. I thought, by the way, I've heard people say that BYU's coaching was really good last weekend. I don't think it was. It didn't make sense to me, Dave. The quarterback runs were working just like they were against Georgia Tech. Keep running that until it doesn't work anymore. Instead, they went to pass happy mode the whole game. And sure, they had some success because of penalties. And again, they were penalties, but it wasn't like Bachmeier was throwing the rock around like he was, the best quarterback in college football. Like, there was a lot of questionable stuff there. I would hope that TCU comes in and absolutely just dominates our defense, which again is why I'm telling people the only way we're competing in this game is if the offense plays almost perfect and scores at least on 90% of their drives at this point.
Yeah,
like 90%.
They got to score a lot, man. I think in order to stay in this game. But again, you can limit that a little bit by if you have long drives. Like, we've been able to punch in some long drives this year.
Mm-hmm.
Run the ball and put your receivers out there that are going to block the best man right now. Again, I think we got to get simple. We got to stick with what's working for us. And, sometimes, man, these teams that we face in the Big 12, they're like, man, we do not care if you know that we are running the ball. We are going to run over you. We're going to enforce our will. That's almost how I feel like we need to start playing, man, with until Julian Lewis is ready to roll, we can run a more balanced offense, man. I think that we should just we need to double down, man, on running the ball. And I think it could be good for us long term as well to just have that as your identity, man. I think that's that's the recipe for victory or getting bowl eligible is run the ball more.
The comment here that's saying that Salter doesn't have he's not allowed to audible. I guarantee you Shador didn't have all the time and all the chances to audible. Shador was literally going out there and saying, screw Pat Shermer, Travis run deep, I'm throwing you the ball. You know what that is to me, Dave? That is a guy that's saying, I know what I'm doing. I'm confident. I'm going to do whatever I want. Screw this offensive coordinator that we all know is terrible, and I'm going to go succeed without him. Like, that to me, in this situation, because your coach is so bad and nobody will say anything, that shows some leadership right there to just say, you know what, screw this. I'm going to succeed despite you. And that what happened. Because the fact is, Buffalo Soldiers, I know what you're talking about, and I know what happened in the play breakdown of the All-22, because I watched the All-22 as well. The play calling was absolutely horrendous. Do something about it and stop letting Shermer dictate what's going on. Tell your guys in the huddle that you're changing the play and make a play happen. That to me is him saying he knows what he's doing. That's the hard part. I know that part of Shador doing that is because Prime was in his corner. But if Kaidon does that and succeeds and gets touchdowns, you know that nobody's going to question that because Prime ain't benching a guy who's succeeding visually on the field. Right now, it's a combo of the play calling sucks and Salter's not making the right decisions at some times. And so overall, it just looks horrible. If I'm Salter, I say screw it, and I'm just going to go do my own thing.
I will say, me personally, I think my quarterback philosophy is a little bit different than what Coach Prime talked about last week about how I need my guy to go make like 4 or 5 plays. I think that defends kind of what you're asking Salter to do right there. Russ is like, go out and beat him. The problem is that I don't think Salter is that player to just go out and beat him, man. Like, I think that is only the elite quarterbacks can do that. And as much as I've been wanting to see Kaidon Salter be elite, he just ain't that, man. So take the ball out of his hands a little bit more, run the ball, and get creative in the run. How about that? Damn.
Buddy, we're trying to read them. You guys are going crazy in the chat, okay?
I'm the guest today. I haven't looked at
doing the best I can going through all your comments, okay? We're also talking here. Buddy, we got to do our best. Like, if you really want your comment shown, especially when it's the dual show, because we've got literally 2 chats going at once, like, that's where super chats come in. We'll definitely read your super chat.
And send a super chat. Come on. All you guys want all this attention just for free, man. Come on. You guys are cheapskates.
You're good, buddy. I love you. My man.
You guys are such cheapskates, man. You want all the praise, not put any of the work in, damn it.
I interact with my chat probably more than anybody out there. So they know it's not on purpose. It's not on purpose. But I would agree with that, Dave. I mean, I would agree with that. I think you're right on with that. And, that's where it's at. I mean, it's unfortunate, but I think that's the problem. I don't think, my big thing is, and I want to say this, I do not think that Salter is the worst quarterback ever or that he is 100% to blame in this. But combined with the crappy play calling from Shermer, the offense and how it's formatted and all this, he's not the quarterback to lead this offense.
Dude, he's been the worst leader at quarterback we've had here in a very long time.
And that's the key, is we needed somebody who was ready to come in and take the spotlight. I've heard so many people say, stop talking about Shador. Stop bringing up Shador. Like, Salter's having to live in the shadow of Shador. Salter came here knowing that he was going to have to live in the shadow of Shador. You're coming here to play for the darn guy's dad. What did you expect?
You got 3 years, 5 years of YouTube. You know what you're getting into, dude, but it's hard for me to not imagine, like, dude, what would Steven Montez do on this team? Are you kidding me? Like, dude, again, this guy, he just doesn't have it. I hope that he proves me wrong and leads an amazing 10-point comeback against Fort Worth. I'm sick of shitting on this guy, but he doesn't have it up here when it comes to the leadership, man. And this is something that predates Prime to like the leadership void we've seen at quarterback here, man. Like, this is something that we haven't seen in quite a while.
Like, I see the talent, I do, but it's that mental aspect. It's the lead. Like, why come to see? Like, that was why it was like when Juju, Dave, we were going after him. I was like, out of all the high school guys out there, Juju made the most sense because that dude has been raised with the pressure on him. Yeah. He has literally been viewed by the country and by the football world as the next big thing his whole life. He's had the camera in front of his face since he was 8 years old. Like, that made sense. That guy is going to be ready to go into the shadow of, Shador. We're finding out, and people have said this to me so many times, Dave, that Kaidon Salter is an introvert. He's just really quiet, and he's all this. I'm like, well, why did you come to CU of all places if that's who you were going to be?
I really don't give a shit. You're paid money to come here and be the face of a program as a quarterback. Like, I don't want to hear no sob story. I don't want to hear that you don't got the personality for it. You're right, Russ. You shouldn't have come here. Dude, going back to the 2020 season, we had Sam Neuer convert from the safety position to play quarterback for us. And he showed more leadership than what we've seen with a real quarterback. A guy, Cade Salter, he's a real quarterback with a real quarterback skill set, but lacks the intangibles, dude. Dude, we went 4-3 that year. And I don't think we were expecting to win more than one game in that 2020 season. But you know what Sam Neuer did? He commanded the offense. He rallied the troops. He played within the offense. And he showed toughness, discipline, and man, he ran over dudes. He threw for like a 50% completion percentage, but I don't care, man. He led us to some victories that we weren't supposed to get as a converted safety.
I mean, you got it there. You got it there. I mean, there's a lot of people. I mean, there's some people in the chat are saying, you know, we need to stop talking about Salter like this. I'm like, we're not going to coddle a guy. Like, he's in the limelight. They're getting paid now. Like, that's the hard part.
You go out in the press conference and you give a woe is me type of thing hunched over like this, dude. I like, sorry, my patience is wearing thin, dude. Like, you have to understand what it means to represent not just a football team, but all of CU. Like, this is much bigger than yourself, man.
Yeah, it did. It did. You know, there's a lot of stuff to be said with that. This is who we are. And here's where I'm going to go with this, Dave, because I've also been seeing some people say, like, this is the final game for Salter. He's got to prove that he can, you know, take that next step. I don't think it is just yet, because we have the bye week coming up. I think you shoot for that bye week for Juju once it hits. You know, if the next two games don't go well, because it's 3 weeks of the bye week, I believe. We have 2 games, bye week, and then Arizona.
Is it Iowa State next week?
Yes, we have Iowa State next week at home. By the way, somebody did make the point, this is Salter's first road game because he didn't play at Houston. So he's playing at TCU, which honestly, to me, is a much more difficult environment to play at.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be rock.
Than Houston. It's gonna be crazy when it happens. So, you know, and agreed, Lamar, we're not giving Shermer a pass, by the way. We've been saying that Shermer is horrible, but in spite of Shermer, quarterback's got to be able to take a step up and do something just to show that there.
Yeah.
So,
we need like real college coaches, because this NFL stuff of go be him, it's not college. You're not going to have a bunch of guys that are go be him right now. Maybe at Georgia, maybe at Ohio State, but that you can name the amount of teams that are filled with 22 hims on one hand, man. Like, we need some real college coaches to come in here, man, and help elevate these guys.
Cam, yes. Sorry, that was not what I was calling out. Both Dave and I have called out the people who are chirping at K-Salt as pieces of trash. Yes. They're kids. Don't go and at them. I hate when I tweet things out, by the way, Dave, where I'm not even being that negative about somebody. I'm literally just making observations, and somebody in the comments of the tweet will at the player, and I'm like, stop. Okay, they will see that stuff even without you adding them, but adding them is not going to help anybody, including them, and it's not going to make a point at all. Like, leave them alone when it comes to that point. Don't go directly into their DMs and say they suck, say they need to move, say they need to do all that stuff. Like, that's different, okay? Don't go directly to them and say that stuff.
I'm not saying he's a bad person, a terrible person, a narcissist, anything like that. Right now, with what he has shown, he's just shown that he's just not cut out to be the leader of this football team. That's why his leash is going to be short.
That's exactly it. And, you know, to this comment too of like, good luck if he goes pro. I mean, it's true. I'm telling you right now, I'm sorry to say it, but Salter's pro, thoughts are going out the window as we speak.
He doesn't even think like a pro. That's the problem too.
Because
he doesn't handle himself like a pro.
The scouts are watching. The scouts are watching. Well, here's the problem. I mean, that's just the problem with fandom in general. I mean, everybody is commenting at different players all the time. No. And it's stupid to do that. It's stupid to message out to these kids. You don't think they know that they're messing up? Like, what? But like directly, tweeting and like cursing them out and doing all this stuff, that's trash stuff. That's trash stuff when it comes to fandom. So let's not do that. Let's not do that at all. So, okay, back to TCU, Dave. Let's talk impact players. if Colorado is going to get a victory, okay, if Colorado is going to get a victory, who are you looking at to be the impact players for this team?
All right. Well, I'll start on offense. Dude, it's got to be Draylon Miller, man. I am so happy with how he looked at playing running back, dude. I didn't think it would look this natural for him. He looked fantastic. I don't know if we're getting Simeon Price back this week. Let me know if you know, but right now I'm saying Draylon is going to be that guy because I'm assuming we're going to miss out on Price this week. So let's feed him the rock. Let's get him involved in the running game, in play action, in the passing game as well. He's man, that was great to see him with a couple catches, with a handful of rushing yards. I think in order for us to get the upset, we got to chew the clock. We got to have some long drives.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that means, Russ, man? We're not throwing the rock around, man. We're running the ball. We're running the ball at a good rate. Over 6 yards a carry last week against BYU. Now, hey, we broke it down last week. They didn't exactly have the best competition leading up to this game, BYU, but still, that was a team that was holding their opponents to where they should have been, being a good defense at 44 yards a game. I forget what we ran for. I think it was like over 170 yards or so. We did a great job. So let's do that against a defense that is now giving up over 130 yards a game. And that is TCU's running defense, man. So let's go do that. So Draylon Miller, and I guess you could say the offensive line, man. That's our key.
Okay. On my side, I would have said Draylon Miller, but I will change it up for this purpose. We need a receiver to show up. We need a receiver to bounce back. For me, you know, I want to see Sincere Brown bounce back. He's got the speed, he's got the talent, he's got the ability. As far as the deep ball, can we get him that deep ball? Like, if we're going to be in this game, if we're going to be able to, you know, again, successful run game, open up the pass, take a deep shot. That's how football should work, as Jordan Seaton would say. You know, play action to deep shot with Sincere Brown. I need to see it. If Draylon's doing his job, if Mike is doing his job, and the offense is looking better with the run, that should open up that pass. So Sincere Brown needs to have a big time game this week for sure.
Yes. And on defense, shoot. X factor. We need Amari McNeil, man, to have like a statement game, man, up there in the front of the line, man. We need to be making Josh Hoover uncomfortable. If we can get rid of his space to step up in the pocket, also if we can shut down some of those run plays, that would be fantastic. So in order for us to give our secondary a chance, man, we need to be getting pressure, and we need to be stopping the run. It starts with the defensive line. Amari McNeil, please have the game of your life. If you have the game of your life, Amari McNeil, we win this game. That's how confident I am in you.
I agree with that. I like that. For me, I mean, I'm going to continue. I think, you know, the defensive line is where we are good at. So for me, I'm going to go with the freshman. I'm going to go with London Merritt. Had a great game against BYU. I think he continues that against TCU. If we're going to contain TCU and their quarterback, Hoover, we need to get to the quarterback, Dave. We need to get to the quarterback. You know, we got to BYU a couple times, but that was about it. Of course, the 3rd and 17 needs to be completely thrown out. Can we get that better? But D-Nice is right here. I mean, Coleman and Merritt need to be in there a heck of a lot more. Yes. And we need to figure that out. You know, I'm hoping that the corners can turn around for once in their life, you know, and actually look at the ball to actually, you know, give the refs a hard time when it comes to making those calls.
Dude, and here's the thing. When you see it with everybody, when you see it be an issue with everybody, that's when I say it's on coaching, dude.
Yep.
They're not being taught correctly how to turn their head around.
And I just wonder, and maybe, I mean, again, this is not for me. I'm not saying this is a hard thing. I just wondered, my question is, I feel like football has kind of evolved, Dave, from when it was during like Coach Prime's days at corner. I think it was a lot more physical, and they allowed a lot more when it came to pass interference. So I wonder if maybe some of the technique is just not carrying over. Because I remember early on in Prime with Well Off Media, we had a practice where he talked to the corners about that exact thing. And being able to look back and do all that stuff. That part's frustrating to me because you're going to get called every single time if you don't look back. You deserve to be called every single time if you don't at least look back. If you look back and you still get called, yeah, let's put on the refs to blow those calls and whatnot. But I mean, we weren't even trying,
man. When you're looking back,
you do. You get away with a lot more. I mean, they can't call every single one, and in BYU they called every single one because there was no looking back. So they made it easy on them to say, well, that was why we did it. We have that definition. We need to figure that out. Absolutely going forward. That needs to happen. But the defensive line needs to get to the quarterback faster to help out the piss poor defensive backs at this point. That's the only way that's going to change because the defensive line is the only thing we really have going for us. And we'll see what happens with that. But that's where I'm at. I'll go the defensive line for impact player that needs to happen.
Dude, that sounds great. Shall we take our break? I imagine
yes.
we're at a nice little peak here.
Yes. Before
do we want to go with Profit X first or Taco?
Yes, let's do that, Dave. Let's hear what you have to say about the partners over at Profit X.
Yes, Profit X, flagship sponsor of David Talks Buffs. Thank you, Russ, for collaborating with me on this. Really, really do appreciate it. Here's the deal, guys. You guys have heard me talk about this. Profit X is your number one peer-to-peer sports prediction market. So you're betting against, or rather playing. You're playing against your peers, not the sports book betting against the house, right? So available 40 plus states, including Texas, Colorado, right? You can get fantastic odds, some of the best you can find out there compared to traditional sports books. So we'll go through these here, but use my promo code Dave and get up to $200 of profit cash back in your first 30 days playing. Fantastic deal. So here's the thing. You cannot find this anywhere. I was even on Vegas Insider this afternoon looking at it, man. Colorado plus 13.5. It's essentially even odds at minus 101. At minus 101. You can find like minus 104, 105, maybe minus 110 is what I've seen in a lot of places. You basically get even odds. And as you can see, I threw a nice little $5 of profit cash on that, man. Not to get too far into my prediction, but plus 13.5 on the road. I understand, man. TCU is a rowdy environment to play in. But I believe that this program plays TCU tough. I see us covering. So I had to throw some profit cash on this, man. So now will I also double down with the over on this at 58? That remains to be seen. But also you can get some good odds, as you can see here on, I might have to throw $3 or so, as I did here on just the money line on the plus 420, man. That's nice too. So we'll see. Do I got to verify my location? I think I do because it's not going through. But anyways, guys, join me on Profit X. Thanks, Russ.
Yeah. So make sure you guys go get that bet. Now, Dave, part of our predictions, before we get to our second sponsor. So you are hammering the CU Buffs and the money line for the game.
I'm going to be betting on that money line, man. You got plus 420 odds now, man.
420 odds for what? What's the spread?
For minus 13.5 plus.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Yeah. Guys, this is where I was like, because last week I told the BYU fans, by the way, I was right. I told the BYU fans who were like, oh, I'd put my mortgage on the CU game, but I don't bet because, we don't bet in Utah. I said I would not touch this game with a 10-foot pole because I did not feel like either team, you could tell anything about them. CU, who knows what was going to happen with K-Salt coming back. And then BYU had not played anyone. And I'm sorry to say, but BYU's defense did not look like the best defense in the country, as I was told. So the fact that Colorado still covered, by the way, the spread, you would have won had you hammered CU and not BYU. So all those people that put their mortgage down are now without a house. This game, 14.5, and that's how much you could win if that hits.
Oh, no. Money line is plus 420.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Plus 13.5 is minus 101. So essentially it's even odds.
Yeah, okay. Even
100
odds.
for 100.
Even odds. Still.
Yeah, dude, even odds. I see this team playing TCU tough, man. I see them do
I do as well. I don't think we're going to win, but that's a little teaser for our predictions later on. But hey, let's hear from our other wonderful sponsor this year. Dave, they have done wonderful. They have sponsored us very well. And that is, of course, the good old and the classic Taco Bell. That's right, baby. Taco Bell is your best sponsor. Now, we've got a new read this week, baby.
Yes.
We've got a new read because Taco Bell wants to talk to you about the Cantina Chicken menu. Okay, Taco Bell has launched a new era of chicken, and it's not your parents' poultry. The Cantina Chicken menu debuts a new flavorful chicken that is slow roasted, perfectly seasoned with Mexican spices, including garlic, onions, and a variety of chilies. Additional premium ingredients highlighted on the menu include shredded purple cabbage, white corn tortilla shells, freshly fried, and pico de gallo, freshly prepared daily. Try the amazing shredded chicken in a crispy white tortilla with cheese inside and out, wrapped in a burrito with fresh purple cabbage and pico, or inside of a Cantina chicken quesadilla for an unforgettable meal. However you like it, you'll never do chicken the same way again. Get yours today at your nearest local Taco Bell. It's all over the country, of course, the Chicken Cantina menu. And then don't forget to go ahead and add on that Buffs box. So go get yourself a Chicken Cantina taco. Get yourself your Buffs box. Get yourself your Jordan Seaton, the franchise, who, by the way, this week spoke again.
Yes.
He's not going anywhere, guys. He hears you guys and the terrible Buffs fans out there that think he's transferring and keep posting that online. Just stop it. If you're a Buffs fans, you do not need to be posting that. They're sticking around. They're in it for the long run. Go get your franchise cup. And CU Taco Bell is a proud sponsor of CU Athletics and will be donating $1,000 to the Golden Buffaloes scholarship for every CU touchdown, including 3 touchdowns last weekend. Yeah. Hopefully we get a few more this weekend. Buffs love the Bell, Sco Buffs, and Liv Moss. Hey, I love me a good Cantina chicken. And for those of you out there in the comments who always want to comment that Taco Bell doesn't have good food or blah, 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 the Cantina chicken menu, not only is it good, but if you look at the macros on it, it's actually pretty good for you. As bad as fast food can be, it's definitely a good option if you're looking to lose a little bit around the midsection. So, go get yourself some Cantina chicken stuff.
Delicious.
Okay, Dave, it's come to that time. Before we get to the questions in the chat, you guys can start lining up questions. If you want to actually I will start starring them. We will get to them at the end.
Yeah, they better be supers for Russ. They better be supers.
Throw some supers out there if you want some questions answered. But, Dave, let's get to the predictions. Yeah. CU, TCU in Fort Worth. How you feeling? What are you thinking? What do you think is going to happen? What do you think the final score is going to be?
I think it's going to be like a weird scoring game. So I don't know if this is a strange record or score prediction, but see it being a 1-score game, but us not getting it done in crunch time, man. That's how I see it. Give me TCU 35, Buffs 27.
Okay. So 8-point loss for CU. They cover the spread. If that happens, Dave, what are your feelings going to be after that game?
Hell, we might be a quarterback away from making a bowl game. Again, I think that this is a team that is showing a lot of young promise, man. And I know we got a group of 37, 38 seniors, whatever, but in the words of Matt McChesney, if this is the product with all these senior leaders on here, man, sorry, you had your chance. It's time to lean into the young guys, man. So, yeah, hopefully this isn't a blowout. If it is by halftime, I could see us putting in Julian and just rolling with him for the rest of the season. But let's go out here and get a victory, man. I want to see Kaidon Salter and some of these guys, dude. Shut people like me up, man. I want to be made an idiot going on to my post game, and I will be thrilled if we can get this upset, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we got nothing to lose in this game. I mean,
No.
you look at the line, you look at what's going on right now. We're expected to get blown out in this game. So anything less than a blowout is a pretty darn good thing. And a victory is an absolute unbelievable thing. I mean, this is
It's
literally
the Big
TCU
12,
part two.
dude. It can happen. I'm
It
just not going to
can.
predict it.
It can. It can. It can. I'm agreeing with you, Dave. I'm pretty much on the same page. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I think in the end, CU won't have enough to keep up with TCU. TCU is just going to be able to put the ball in. I'm challenging the defense right now. Hey, if any of the defenders, and I know some of them follow me on Twitter and some of them interact with me, if you guys want to if you want to be upset and mad and make a point of it, then show up on the field with it, because the defense is just not it. I mean, by the way, this just got posted, Dave. Through 5 games, Colorado is the 12th worst rushing defense in the country, allowing 197 yards per game in rushing, almost 200 yards per game just in rushing alone. So defense, I'm challenging you right now. Make me eat my words, but I'm going to go with a little bit higher scoring. I'm going to say 38-30. I'll say 38-30. TCU is going to come out victorious. I think it's going to be there. Now, I think this could potentially happen. I do. I think Sonny Dykes will try and run up this score if they get a chance. So this offense has to come ready to play. Yeah, it does. It absolutely
QB runs. Yeah,
does. It could be way worse. I don't think it's going to be 30 points, though. Okay. I don't think it's going to be 30 points. Hey, there's Buddy coming in with the $5 as always. Buddy is the man. Buddy is the man.
Put your money where your mouth is, buddy.
Start lining up the questions, guys, if you have them for us about this game, things that you want to hear about, things that you want discussed. We will spend the next few minutes doing that. Until that happens, Dave, my big question for you, Dave, and I kind of know the answer already, but is it official? Like, is this sealed? Does Pat Shurmur need to be gone after this season? And is he going to be the question? I guess the question should be, Dave, is he going to be gone?
Dude, how about this? Dude, enough with this NFL talk, man. How many NFL guys does Georgia have on their staff, dude? How many guys does freaking Ohio State have? Ryan Day never coached in the NFL, dude. So, again, good programs put guys in the NFL, and that's like what we need to focus on at the coordinator positions, man. So I'm willing to excuse Robert Livingston this year because I think it is fair that we don't necessarily have the same talent on defense as we did, even though I still think that he definitely deserves some blame for having the 110th worst defense in the country in year 3 in Coach Prime. To me, he deserves some blame for this. But Pat Shurmur, I think we are averaging, I have it open here right now, on offense, dude. On offense with this NFL offense, right? With Pat Shurmur being an NFL guy, we are averaging in the Big 12 25.8 points per game. You might think that sounds good. If you follow the NFL, guys, that is ranked 14th in the Big 12. We are third to last in the Big 12 in scoring offense, man. Pat Shurmur, I believe his contract is done after this year.
Yep.
Fire him into the sun. I never want to have to speak or think about this man again. All this man does is average. Yeah, and Chip Kelly last year, NFL. Is he an NFL guy?
He's a college guy. He didn't succeed in the NFL. He didn't have a long career in the NFL.
He's never had real success in the NFL.
He's your Nick Saban, Urban Meyer. Those guys go have a cup of coffee because they don't work in the college game. And let's be honest, the pro game doesn't work in the college game.
Yeah, man.
Now,
so I'm all for having these NFL guys coach the position groups.
Yes.
I think that's fine, but we need some real guys to bring some ingenuity in the schematics on offense, man. I'm sick of seeing. And here's the thing. Pat Shurmur's not going to be fired. His contract, I believe, expires after this season. Just be done with it. Go enjoy retirement, man.
And that's the key. Dave, you made a great point, and I think that's something that not a lot of people are talking about. I think that's exactly what's about to happen. I think they're going to just let Pat's contract expire. They're not going to fire him. That's the best way to quote unquote get rid of one of your friends, is to just simply say, "Hey, just ride off into the sunset and be done." Like that. That's where it's at. So the question is, yeah, can Coach Prime get somebody else? But I agree with you. And people are like, "Oh, the D line is coaches are just straight crap." Like, I mean, London Merritt and Alex McPherson are looking pretty good. That's showing they develop. Maybe the other guys they grabbed are just not good enough personnel wise. I am not against our position coaches, and I said that from the get go. I've said that all along when we've hired these guys. I'm like, because people are like, "Oh, NFL, players can't coach." The problem is they can't probably do the X's and O's, but they know technique, and that is what that position is all about. That is all it's about, guys. The coordinator positions are the X's and O's. The position coaches are about the technique and getting those players right. And if I'm being honest, I mean, you look at the defensive line last year. Hey, Sapp was here too, so you got to give him credit. And this year, it's not just Pecco. Everybody's thinking that Pecco is the reason we're not getting sacks. Like, by the way, Hilo is one of the defensive edge coaches too. We have 3.
And Warren Sapp got a promotion, and nobody wants to throw some criticism his direction, man. And
they're all saying Pecco
being on the staff, man.
Everybody's going after Pecco. Like,
yeah,
it's a 3-headed monster on the defensive line room, just like it's a 3-headed monster on the offensive line room. Like, give those guys a pass when it comes to what you're seeing when the X's and O's aren't living up to what needs to happen. So the coordinators need to do this. And this is a good question from D Nice, because I would agree on this. I mean, Shermer is a part of the recruiting. We have several pictures of people with Shermer, at their schools. That did happen. Christian Ward, there was a picture. Pat Shermer was at his high school this summer. So it sounds like Shermer is going out and recruiting in person because of what we're seeing. But there is a list so far of guys available. Dave, I want to get your takes, by the way. This is so far. One of my viewers actually sent me a message of all the guys that are looking for jobs so far.
Okay.
For offensive coordinators. The first and foremost, of course, UCLA, Tino Sinceri.
Yes.
Jeff Gallo, Monmouth, Rick Bowie, Western Kentucky, Graham Harrell, Eric Edsness, Jordan Davis, John David Baker, Tim Cramsey, Kevin McGavin, Dean Kennedy, Kevin Decker from Old Dominion, Terrence Archer, Delaware, Alex Mortensen, UAB, Brent Peace from Montana, Clint Killa. There's a lot of coaches out there. There's going to be more. There are going to be head coaches that are going to be available when it comes for OCs for Colorado. And we need to go into the well. We do not need to rehash the same thing we did. Right, Dave? I mean, that's the key. We can't rehash NFL only type guys.
Yes. Yeah. Man. I wish we could have gone out, hired Brian Hartline like a year ago. That would have been great. But he's the OC, at Ohio State now. He would have been tremendous. But I think John David Baker, where was he last at? That's
ECU.
That is interesting. That is very interesting. I also love the idea of having a play caller with that quarterback mindset. John David Baker has.
Yeah.
I would rather go get somebody from a program that they've either had success already calling at the G5 level. I know a lot of people brought up the North Texas guy, whatever that could be cool. But I'm still one of these guys of like, hey, if you want to take a chance on somebody in college, they might not have a ton of play calling experience. That's okay. It's college. But if you think and come from an innovative program, I'm about that. So hire somebody from Oregon, from Ohio State, from LSU, a program like that. Hell, even Sark isn't exactly the hottest coach right now out in Austin, but still, somebody who coming from a program that's had success at the offensive level in college football, even a Kenny Dillingham disciple, right, at ASU, that could be very interesting. Because remember, Coach Prime wanted to hire Kenny Dillingham originally from Oregon until he got that ASU offer. So I would like to go in that direction. I know it didn't work out with Sean Lewis. There are a lot of reasons why that didn't happen. But again, like I think that we know more of what we want now. I would imagine that Coach Prime is I think that he's a better coach than what he was 2 years ago, man. The record might not show it, but I think with some of these decisions, he has gotten better at them. And again, you're not always going to hit on every coordinator hire. You're just not. Pat was a safe hire. He was what I think we needed after the whole Sean Lewis debacle. And our offense was fine last year. It was fine. We got a Heisman winner out of it. But in order to get the potential out of all these guys, we need somebody that is that's innovative. And that's the thing. Yeah, Coach Prime hires based on relationships. So call up Kenny Dillingham and get somebody out there. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yep. I would agree with that. And I mean, here's the thing too. It's not direct relationships, by the way. Several of his coaches, including Livingston, including when Shermer was originally hired, by the way, were hires because Coach Prime had a friend who said, hey, you should hire this. Like there has to be some kind of connection there. They don't have to be direct connections. Prime isn't doing that on everybody. Obviously, all of the truth coaching staff came with Prime originally with Jackson State, your Hart, your Mathis, even Flea.
Mathis contract done after this year? Because right now he needs to go. Man.
Like, and you know what, Dave, and maybe I'm looking into this too much. Watching Mathis talk to the guys today at practice in the videos, he's looking a little worse for wear. I'm wondering if I'm wondering if he just calls it quits. Like your position group's doing this poor. The kids aren't really responding to you. I mean, there does come a point, Dave, with some coaches that the message just doesn't get across anymore. The respect just isn't there like it used to be.
It's Coach Prime's position, dude. And we don't got any of these top corners coming in yet for visits. We've had, again, you see guys not turn around their head. Maybe our corners aren't good enough. But when you start to see these themes throughout the whole secondary, dude, I think it's on Livingston. It's on Mathis. Probably more so Mathis because that fits my agenda right now. But like I would like to see us, hey, if we can talk about Randy Moss working with the wide receivers a little bit, how the hell can we get a NFL CB in here working with these guys?
Yeah, I mean, and this is a good point, D-Nice. I forgot about this totally. I mean, Livingston was one of the only DCs that Prime could get to come in that was fine without bringing his own guys. Give Livingston a couple coaches that he can select, Yeah. Give him a DB, give him a cornerback or safety coach or something so that he can do that. I didn't like how Mathis looked today. I don't like how it's going today. I wonder what's going on. I mean, yes, Prime is pissed. Which again goes back to the whole everybody who wants to say that, oh, by the way, Prime is going to call it quits after this year. You think after this season that we just had, he's going to call it quits and let that be his legacy of being a coach?
Dude.
You guys I swear people do not understand who Coach Prime is as a person. Like everything is out there on the sleeve, guys, for him to like show you what's going on. And this is an interesting one out of mind because he has been to Colorado a few times because his kid has been recruited by Colorado in the past. I mean, that's a great example. And Champ does like him some Colorado. So
yes, I would be absolutely thrilled. And hey, the last big two-way guy before Travis Hunter, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Woodson too. You got to remember Woodson did a little bit, but yes, Champ definitely was.
Champ was after Woodson, though.
That's right? True. That's true. I get my timelines mixed up with those, but I would agree with that. I mean, they can absolutely come in with that.
Ooh, I might have to get a new Champ Bailey jersey then.
Oh God, could you imagine? I mean, fun, by the way, I'll have to show you later on. I'll do it on a different stream, but some cool things with the Broncos and that stuff. But I get it. He wasn't a top. That's why he couldn't bring his own. I get it. but he's shown glimpses of what he can do. He is a player's coach. I think he can figure things out. What I like about Livingston is he'll even admit it, that he's still learning. He's still figuring things out. He's constantly reaching out to others. He's even said that. I reach out to other coaches and I ask what they see and I figure that stuff out. Like, guys, this is literally his second season coaching as a coordinator. Give him a little bit of slack, okay? If he continues not to change things, then that's one thing. But Shermer is a dinosaur when it comes to coaching as an OC. Like, this is it. This is what you get. And then, I remember this offseason, Dave, plenty of people were saying that Gunner was a terrible hire and the O-line was in shambles.
I was nervous about it, man.
And we shouldn't have done that. And guess what? They're excelling. They are absolutely excelling to an extent. Can it be better? Yes. I'm not saying it's perfect, but they're doing enough to make it work.
Oh, dude. I think, PFF, take it with a grain of salt, but I think we're number 4 in pass grade in PFF.
Yep.
And I think we're somewhere around the middle of the pack right now in all of FBS when it comes to run blocking. Man, imagine that.
I mean, it's still not good. I get that. And the tape shows it. Like, they're missing things. They don't know how to do the read option, by the way. The amount of times that they're blocking the read guy is just killing me on the all 22. So that needs to be figured out and fixed. I don't know whose call that is. I'm going to assume it's OC, like play calling, like this is what you're supposed to do, but who knows? Either way, it's definitely better, guys. The O-line is way better. Like, Salter is getting plenty of time back there. I wish we had some better schemes up. I wish we had some better, play call when it came to the routes that the receivers are running. I think we're putting them in a position to fail there. And I think that, unfortunately, the fact is that Salter doesn't like hanging in the pocket that long. He gets ghosts. He gets happy feet. He wants out. He goes out. So you know what you do to that? You scheme around that, but that doesn't seem to be happening, which is why I'm like, let's get this OC out of there. Let's get somebody who can adapt to what they have going on, adapt to your players. I mean, look at the Broncos and Sean Payton. I mean, Sean Payton's the ultimate like OC who's like adaptable to who his players are in what he did for Bo Nix last year and how that like evolved over the years. We need an OC that's willing to do that here. It just seems like Shermer is so stuck in his ways of like, this is what we're going to call. I mean, it's hitches and goes. Like that should be his new CD album instead of, you know what, and hose. It's hitches and goes. Like that's the new track for the Shermer album at this point.
Yeah, man. Hopefully, what are we, 5 games through? So we got 7 more games of Pat Shermer. That better be it.
Yeah. I mean, Dave, the fact that you brought up that Shermer's contract is up tells me everything I need to know.
I think it is up. Let me Google it to make sure.
Because here's the thing. I wonder, too, if maybe Brett Bartolone or somebody else is also helping out a little bit more with X's and O's just based on the creativity we've seen. Who knows? People want to say that he is. Whatever. It would also make sense that if the contract for Shermer is up, let's just quietly just kind of figure things out behind the scenes.
Yes.
And I guarantee, Dave, that people like Juju and Seton know that Shermer's time is probably close to being up and know what the future could possibly be. I mean, who knows? Maybe Coach Prime is already working on finding a replacement going into next year. Maybe that's it.
I mean, yeah, it was a 2-year deal signed going into 2024. So yeah, it ends when the 2025 season concludes. So he's done. He's done. Hopefully in 7 games, maybe 8 games if we can pull off a bowl game.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, Mercer. I get it. Any OC is going to want to bring in his own staff outside of the offensive line, who, by the way, is doing really good, and the running backs coach, who, by the way, are we not giving any like credit to the fact that this running back room, even with some subpar run blocking, is balling out to an extent? Can we talk about that? Does everybody want to talk about, like, everybody in the comments is like, stop with the legendary non-coaching football players, except here's Marshall Faulk doing what no one else could do on this team and actually do well with the running backs. Like, they look different this year. Like, yeah, if he wants to come in the new OC and do a wide receiver coach or a tight end coach or, whatever, some analysts on the side, I think Prime would do that. But you're not going to completely clean house on the offensive side of the ball when your line coach and your running back coach are doing spades with not the greatest of talent all the time.
Yeah. And you hire those guys, OC to gel with those guys, man. That's how I see it. But yeah. Yeah, and I don't think the world will burn if we find a new wide receivers coach or a tight ends coach. Like, I mean, I like those guys, but again, like the program does not hinge on who is coaching our wide receivers and tight ends right now.
Yeah. Well, and after the game, I am giving credit to O-line. I literally just said that. But if you watch the all 22, there are definitely some plays that the running backs are making something out of nothing.
Yeah, dude,
They're making the right decisions. They're cutting correctly. They're doing the right plays. There is a drive to them, and you see it with how Falk is coaching them on the well-off videos and how he's talking to them like no running backs coach has ever done at this program. Okay, Flea did not talk to them with that kind of urgency and information. So it's both. That's what I'm saying. The O-line and the running back room is the best thing about this team, period. And who would have thought that, Dave? Who would have thought that in the last couple years that we would be saying that about a Coach Prime team at CU, that the running back and O-line are really the only positive rooms at CU right now? Can you imagine?
Part of me loves it, dude, because I think it bodes well for next year.
It does. It 100% does. And I think we can definitely transition. I mean, I do think this is what's going to happen, guys. I think if we struggle the next two games, if we don't pull out some victories or at least look really good against some good teams, I think the bye week is going to be the opportunity that they're finally going to say, that's it for Salter. They're going to work on Julian Lewis through the whole bye week, get an offense set for him, and move forward with Julian Lewis as the quarterback for the rest of the year. Because at that point, we're not getting a bowl game if we lose the next two. We have to win at least one of these next two to have a chance to get to a bowl game. If we're not getting a bowl game, there is no reason, I'm sorry to play Salter at that point. And you guys can admit that. There is no point in playing a fifth-year senior when you are playing for nothing in that year. What you're playing for is showing recruits out there that Julian Lewis is the truth and that the future at Colorado is looking extremely bright, and you're the next piece that's going to change that going forward at that point. But I think that's where you're at that point.
Yeah, man. I hope this team goes and shows some fight, man, pulls off this big time upset. I would be so happy. So happy. And then that would be awesome going into Iowa State, man. Playing confidently, going in, feeling amazing. But they got to show it before I'm going to start to predict it.
Yeah. No, I know. And guys, let's not crash out over the next several weeks. Okay, the future at CU is bright.
Guys,
Yep, and focus on the future of this team. Focus on what that's going to be going forward. I'm telling you, they're locked in. They're ready to go for the future. They're not just going to automatically just drop off this team like everyone thinks they are. These guys are different kind of guys that Coach Prime brought in. I'm telling you, they are committed to CU moving all forward, and that's where everything is at.
Yeah, and
which comment?
No, I'm just looking this up here, but yeah, I think it's like all these coaches that everybody in the comments wants out, man. I think Shermer, we're talking about Mathis, Coach Hart. Like, I don't remember those guys signing extensions either. So we'll see what happens with Jason Phillips, Bartolone. But yeah, there could be a lot of I think needed change and upgrades to this staff. So.
This is the big question, and I've already made my answer, Dave, but with 2 conference losses, even if you win out, the chances of making that. I mean, we didn't make it last year with 9 wins. We'd have to win out to get 9 wins, and we're already 0-2 in conference play. Like,
no, man, we need to be talking about just getting to a bowl game.
Yeah, like 6 wins is the target at this point. 6 wins is the target. And Esses, to your point here, Salter should be benched. I could tell you 100 reasons that's not happening, and that shouldn't happen. Okay. Beside the fact that I'll give Salter the benefit of the doubt to kind of, get back in this, The other problem is you don't throw Julian Lewis on the road at TCU. Are you kidding
First
me?
round.
Like that's
No.
why I keep saying it's the bye week. You give him 2 weeks of preparation for a more winnable game. Somebody said the back half of our schedule is more difficult. No, we're in the difficult part of our schedule. We've got 3 ranked opponents coming up,
Yeah, dude.
potentially 4 if, Arizona continues on with, doing some stuff. But yeah, like, come on, guys. Are you serious? Like, this is the hardest part of our entire darn schedule right now.
Yeah, let Julian Lewis go in there against Kansas State at the end of the season and lead us
West
to
Virginia.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I think we can beat them. I mean, they're worse than
I
us
do.
right now.
I do. Agreed. They are. And Kansas State, honestly, is worse
They're just
than
as
us
bad
right
as
now.
we are, man. Yeah.
Like, yeah, we could definitely beat them with this team right now. But the question is, do we need to? Like, what's the point if there's nothing we're playing for at that point? Why even put in the young guys and see what they can do?
Hell, we might be better. I don't know, man. At least at quarterback, we'll have to see. I haven't been a big believer in that, but let's just see.
Yep. Yeah. Just give stop.
Yeah, dude. How about stop, dude? I wouldn't hate it. Because at least he's not going to cry on the sidelines, man.
Yeah. Time to live. That's what I'm saying. Is you play Salter. If you lose the next 2, then yes, the season is lost. I'm sorry. At that point, we've got how many? We got 4 games. We have to go 4-0 to get to a bowl game. Like, we have to be perfect, and you at least have that bye week. I think at that point you say, yeah, so Juju, you're going to get us to that bowl game at that point. But if Salter can pull out a victory in one of these games and look good, then I'll be back on it and I'll say, yeah, keep riding with him through the season and see if we can get to a bowl game for him at least. So there's that. So, Dave, anything else you got for us here to conclude the night? I appreciate everybody in the chat for being here, for being a part of this. Hey, this is the key. I mean, we're still Buffs fans in the end, and that's the whole point of this show. Dave and I are Buffs fans. We're not going to jump ship. We're not going to celebrate this team losing. I see way too many. I'm not saying anybody in this chat. I see way too many people out there that get pride from CU losing because, the whole point of them is I got to be right. I got to do this. I got to do that. CU losing at this point, makes me feel good. It doesn't make me feel good. I'm a CU fan first and foremost. I want CU to succeed. I have to see what this team can be. And I still have faith in this. I'm not crashing out just yet. I'm not crashing out.
Nah. But what I'll say this, Russ, this school, means so much to me. Getting my degree, one of my degrees from CU.
Yep.
It means so much. And one thing I love about Coach Prime is that he has helped reinstill the pride that everybody has in CU,
yes,
including the players that play for CU, man. So, again, we're outmatched talent level, man. Coming into this game against TCU, we are, man. But we play with pride. We give it our all and don't bitch and moan on the sidelines, cry in the press conference, say my head was, it's just not in the right space right now, man. Forget all that, dude. I can root for you. Hardcore. And yeah, I want to see this team fight. I want to see these young guys start to establish themselves as the leaders of the new era of the post Travis and Shador Carlisle Buffaloes. That's what I want to see. I want to see them play with pride. We've finally got a mascot again that carries that same pride, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's like, dude, when you start to handle yourselves in ways that I think are soft and embarrassing, that reflect badly on the program, I take that personally. Some of the guys on this team, dude, they're finding out that's not going to be tolerated.
Yeah, I mean that's the key, Dave. That's the key. As fans who are passionate about this team and want to see it succeed, we want the best players possible. We want them to show up. We want them to have pride and passion for playing for this team. And right now, there's too many guys, it seems like, that are, throwing in the towel. I can name a handful of guys on this team, though, that aren't. And those guys are the ones that deserve better. You know, Seaton being one of them, Micah, Draylon, a couple of the other guys on the line for sure. God, Dave, the specialists. I didn't even bring this up, but I mean, you know who's tough as nails on this team that doesn't get enough, recognition, but Buck Buchanan. Not only is he doing his job, but Dave, what does he do on the one kickoff that gets returned this past weekend?
Dude. He's making them pay for taking him back, man.
He runs down the field and decks someone on the other team. Like, come on, guys. Where's the passion for the rest of the team when your darn kicker shows some of it more than some of the guys on this team? Like, stop blaming other people. Take responsibility. Fix this and show up and ball out and work your butt off. Enough of this. Byard's another one. Yes, I will say on the defense, Byard is absolutely one of those guys. Dude, absolutely.
He has taken wearing number 7 to heart, to personally, because he's playing just like the Shark did in number 7, man.
Exactly. And Esses, I will say, you have the legendary comment of the night. You don't take a dog that won't hunt on another hunting trip. And to everybody out there that wants to say that Kaidon Salter is this unbelievable, amazing quarterback, and it's on the coaching staff, and they're all making excuses. I get it. It absolutely is on all those things. But if he's a dog, he would still show up and he would make things happen, just like some of these other guys are.
You ain't gonna win chips if you're tender.
Right? No, that's right. That's what happens. That's what happens. Fix it. Just fix it. Fix the darn problem yourself. That was my biggest thing as a coach, Dave. I told kids, I was like, if somebody makes a mistake, you fix it for them. Okay? You just handle your business and things will work out. Enough of this blaming outside stuff, blaming other things, being, too much of a baby when it comes to this. Fix the problem and go out there and do your damn job, in the words of Bill Belichick, and probably the only thing he provided as a football coach.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, man, this ain't a sob story about Kaidon Salter, man. 15 years ago, he might have gotten a bag under the table or something like that, but he's at least been able to make a very nice living for himself, playing average at best Big 12 football right now, man. And that's a success story, this is why you recruit high school, because you spend way more time with these guys. They'll buy into the culture, and you're already seeing that these guys establish themselves as like leaders in the locker room, and they're fits for the system.
Yep.
I hope we lean a little bit more into it, man, because I think it's pretty exciting with what we've done, not really focusing on it that much.
I mean, let the young kids take over, because if they want to be the ones that are going to go in and be dogs no matter what's happening around them, then let them. Let them take over this team moving forward if we don't want to do that. But this weekend is where we find out. Yeah. Who are the guys that are going to show up to Fort Worth, Texas and say, enough's enough. I'm going to do my damn job. I'm going to go out there and play my hardest, and I'm going to make an impact on this game. Coach Prime's been saying it for weeks, Dave. On every well-off, we've seen it. Who's going to step up and make a play? Because nobody is deciding to do that when this team needs it. Mm-hmm. Who's going to be that person? Who is it going to be? I need it. I need it right now. No matter what anybody says, your coaching staff can be absolute shit, but you can be the best player in the world and come into this game and do what you need to do despite what they do for you at this point. Do it.
Yeah, we need some Sam Noyers, dude, to show themselves, especially on this defensive side of the ball, man. Guys will say, man, I don't care if I'm not the best, man, but I'm gonna go all out, and I'm gonna leave everything out on the field, dude. And that's what Sam Noyer did, dude. That's what he did. Can't believe I'm talking about Sam Noyer, but they should go back and watch some of his play, man. This team should, man. This guy had every excuse not to be successful as a quarterback, dude. And he wasn't great, but he at least led the team, man, in that and exhibited those things. Ran the ball really well. This team could learn from that.
Yep.
Right
No,
now,
100%.
They're too soft, man. So
it's 100% across the board. And hey, again, yeah, if the coaches are running the wrong screen, trial you want, it's pointless. Sure, but you'd still flash on tape. There's still players flashing on tape, even with crappy scheme. I'm not saying that you have to be victorious for us to know that you did the right thing, because the scheme shows up on tape. The scheme shows up on tape.
Yeah,
but
dude,
you can
scheme ain't about not turning your head around when the ball's thrown your way.
Bingo. I mean, that's a player thing. They have to decide to do that. They have to decide to do that.
Letting interceptions do just go through your hands.
I mean, Dave, I'll leave it with this. Both as CU guys ourselves, what is the quote that the Athletics is supposed to live and die by? The pride and tradition of the Colorado Buffaloes will not be entrusted to the timid or the weak. And right now, there are way too many timid and weak players on this team that need to turn this around right now.
Who's our cocaine cowboy? Who is our cocaine cowboy? You need to watch that show on Amazon Prime. Dude, this guy for the USC national championship teams, you know what his role was? To give everybody steroids, to give them all performance enhancers when they were down, when they were hurt. Man, this guy kept but dude, that's what we really need. We need a cocaine cowboy here in the offseason, dude, because we need some roid rage on this team. I'm not even talking about just getting stronger on the defensive side, man. We need some people playing with some rage, playing out of their mind. That's what we need, man. We need some crazy. We don't have enough crazy right now.
That's right. Okay. But that's where we'll leave you guys. Okay. We will be back. Actually, by the way,
quarterback, my bad.
Actually, by the way, just a little bit of announcement, some delays for me. I'm going on vacation this weekend. I'm still going to watch the game, but I will not be around to stream. I will probably stream post-game Saturday with you, Dave. I probably will still do that from my hotel room, but
okay, good.
The Monday show will be delayed. We'll do Wednesday afternoon before Buff Blitz. We'll do the call-in show, okay? Because I won't have my equipment. I can't do all the call-in stuff and all that. May do kind of a random video or something one of those days, but yes, going on vacation Friday to Wednesday. So just know that, guys, as far as my programming goes, no Monday show. We will reschedule it for Wednesday afternoon. Dave, what do you got going on? What do people look forward to on your channel coming up heading to the weekend?
Well, David Talks Broncos tomorrow. I got my weekly show with Rawhide where we go through our NFL picks. It is hilarious. Rawhide made up some ground on me this week. So y'all go check that out over there. This was my first losing week in the NFL pick'em I had, man. It was a bad week. But of course I'll be dropping some more Buffs videos, probably some more recruiting things, try and catch up on that before the game on Saturday. So yeah, stop by both channels and dude, I might be dropping a new channel. We'll have to see. But if you do come across the Sleeper Nuggets X account, I am now the man behind the face of that account. I'm going to be posting nuggets every day. So now I'm wondering, dude, if I need to start a Nuggets channel. We'll have to see.
Probably. My answer to that is probably, Dave. You probably need to. Just do it. Just do it.
Nuggets. But I ain't doing every day. Maybe like a weekly recap or something like that. Like the way you do your show.
Yeah, every couple days. Yeah. Schedule it out. Okay, everybody. We appreciate you guys for hanging out with us on this Wednesday night. Hopefully, hey, we've got some happy stuff to talk about this weekend after the game against TCU. So be on the lookout for that. Of course, make sure you've liked and subscribed to both channels. Head over to both if possible. And we appreciate all the support, the super chats, all of the members from both channels that are part of this. We appreciate you as well. All of your guys' support is amazing and awesome. And of course, thanks to our sponsors, Profit X and Taco Bell, for sponsoring both David Talks Buffs and Buffs News Weekly
Yes.
this week.
Yes.
We appreciate you guys so very much. Until next time, for the Buff Blitz, I'm Russ. He's David. And as always, and forever, let's go Buffs.
Let's go Buffs.